There's a quiet restlessness that visits some people, not in moments of crisis, but in the calm, ordinary hours of a life that looks perfectly fine from the outside. You have a good job. You have people who care about you. You've checked all the boxes you were told to check. And yet, you wake up some mornings with a hollow ache in your chest, a silent question that hums just beneath the surface of your thoughts. Is this all there is? It's not a feeling of ingratitude. It's not depression, not exactly. It's something deeper, more ancient. It's the sound of your soul demanding more. This is the psychology of your calling. It isn't a voice from the heavens or a sudden dramatic epiphany. It is a slow, persistent, and often uncomfortable awakening. It is the realization that the life you have meticulously built is no longer a home for the person you are becoming. The mask you've worn to be accepted, the responsible employee, the agreeable friend, the good son or daughter, it's starting to feel heavy, suffocating. You look in the mirror and see a stranger who knows all the right lines, but has forgotten their own truth. Psychologists have given this experience many names. Carl Jung called it the call of the self, the urge to move beyond the ego and integrate the lost parts of our psyche. Abraham Maslow called it the drive for self-actualization. But at its core, it is a profound misalignment between your inner world and your outer reality. Your soul knows you are capable of more, not more success, not more money, but more aliveness. And the pain you feel is the friction between that potential and your current existence. Most of us are taught from a young age to silence this call. We're given a script for a safe and respectable life. Get good grades, find a stable career, settle down. The script is not a bad one, but it is a generic one. And a soul that is meant to write its own story will eventually begin to feel trapped by it. The calling often begins as a whisper. It shows up as a sudden curiosity for something you can't explain, a forgotten passion for art, a longing to travel, a pull towards spirituality, a desire to help others in a way your current life doesn't allow. At first you dismiss it. You tell yourself it's impractical, irresponsible, a childish fantasy. You have bills to pay, expectations to meet, so you push it down. But a calling that is ignored does not disappear. It simply grows louder. It begins to manifest as symptoms. You might feel a chronic sense of boredom, a quiet anxiety that follows you everywhere. You might feel like an imposter in your own life, performing a role that no longer feels authentic. You might find yourself feeling strangely jealous of people who seem to live with passion and purpose, even if their lives are messy. That jealousy, as uncomfortable as it is a clue. It is your soul pointing and saying, that is the kind of freedom I want. The resistance we feel to our calling is deeply psychological. It is the fear of the unknown. The life you have now, even if it feels empty, is predictable. Your calling, however, leads you off the map. It asks you to trade security for meaning, comfort for growth. It asks you to disappoint people, your family, your friends, even the version of yourself that believed in the old script. And that is terrifying. The ego, the part of you that has built its identity around your current life, will fight to keep you safe. It will tell you you're being foolish. It will remind you of everything you have to lose. But the soul doesn't care about safety. It cares about truth. And the longer you ignore it, the more insistent it becomes. The quiet restlessness can turn into burnout, depression, or even physical illness. It's as if your own life force begins to turn against you, creating chaos to force you to finally pay attention. You might find yourself sabotaging the very life you are trying to hold together, missing deadlines, starting arguments, feeling a reckless urge to burn it all down. This is not self-destruction. It is the soul's desperate attempt to break free from a golden cage. So what do you do when you hear this call? The first step is the hardest. You must stop running. Stop distracting yourself with more work, more scrolling, more noise. You must find the courage to sit in the silence and listen. Listen to the discomfort. Listen to the longing. Ask yourself the questions you have been avoiding. What am I truly hungry for? What have I abandoned in myself in order to be safe? If I were not afraid, what would I do? The answers will not come all at once. They will come in fragments, in dreams, in quiet moments, in the pages of a book, in a conversation that suddenly feels real. The calling is not a destination. It is a compass. It doesn't give you a map, but it gives you a direction. And your only job is to take the first, small, terrifying step in that direction. That step might not be quitting your job. It might be signing up for a class. It might be picking up a paintbrush for the first time in years. It might be having one honest conversation with someone you trust. These small acts of alignment are powerful. They send a message to your subconscious. I am listening. I am ready to change. When you begin to follow your calling, the path is rarely smooth. You will be full of doubt. You will feel like you are falling apart. But as Jung would say, you are not falling apart. You are falling together. The old, false self is dissolving to make way for the true one. This process is messy and it is sacred. You are not just changing your career or your lifestyle. You are reclaiming your soul. You are learning to trust the invisible guidance within you over the loud demands of the world. And a strange thing begins to happen. When you start living in alignment with your calling, the universe seems to conspire to help you. You meet the right people. You find the right resources. Opportunities appear that you never could have planned. This isn't magic. It is the law of resonance. When you begin to vibrate with the frequency of your true self, you attract experiences that match that frequency. The fear never completely disappears, but your courage grows larger than it. You learn that the goal was never to arrive at a perfect, painless life. The goal was to live a life that feels like your own, a life where your work is an expression of your spirit, where your relationships are built on truth, and where you can wake up in the morning and feel not a hollow ache, but a quiet sense of purpose. If you are hearing these words, it is because some part of you is ready. The restlessness you feel is not a curse. It is a sacred invitation. It is your life knocking on the door of your heart, asking you if you are finally ready to let it in. Do not be afraid of the emptiness you feel. It is not a void. It is a space waiting to be filled with who you are truly meant to be. The life you have been living has served its purpose. It kept you safe. It taught you lessons. But now your soul is demanding more. Not more of the world, but more of you. It is asking for your courage, for your honesty, for your authentic, messy, and magnificent self. Listen, the journey will not be easy, but it will be the only one that truly matters. It's your soul finally asking to come home.